the boring habits of successful people. Have you ever noticed that successful people often seem boring? Not because they lack ambition, not because they aren't interesting, but because they keep doing the same simple things over and over again. While everyone else is looking for shortcuts, they stick to routines. While everyone else is chasing motivation, they rely on habits. And that's the part nobody likes to hear. Because deep down, we all want success, but most of us want the exciting version of success, the breakthrough, the transformation, the moment everything changes. What we don't want is the repetition that comes before it, and that's exactly why so many people stay stuck. Success is usually much less exciting than social media makes it look. The workout, the study session, the extra page, the early night, the daily walk. None of these things are impressive on their own. In fact, they're often boring, but that's what makes them powerful. Because success isn't built by what you do once, it's built by what you repeat. Think about learning a new skill. Nobody becomes great in a day. A musician practices scales. An athlete repeats drills. A writer writes drafts nobody will ever read. The work that creates results is rarely exciting. Most of it happens quietly, and that's the first habit successful people have. They show up even when it's boring. Most people rely on feelings. If they feel motivated, they work. If they don't, they wait. Successful people don't wait. They understand that motivation comes and goes, but habits can stay. Imagine two people trying to get fit. The first person works out only when they feel inspired. The second person works out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, no matter what. Who do you think gets results after a year? Not the person with more motivation, the person with more consistency. And that's an important lesson. You don't rise to the level of your motivation, you fall to the level of your systems. The second boring habit is protecting their focus. Today, distractions are everywhere. A message, a notification, a video, a headline, something is always competing for your attention. Most people don't lose because they're lazy. They lose because they're distracted. Every interruption pulls your attention away from what actually matters. And the scary part is that distractions often feel productive. You tell yourself you're researching, planning, preparing, but hours pass and nothing meaningful gets done. Successful people understand that focus is a skill, and like any skill, it needs protection. Sometimes that means putting the phone away. Sometimes it means saying no. Sometimes it means doing one thing at a time when your brain wants to do 10. It's not exciting, it's not glamorous, but it works. The third habit is something most people underestimate. They make things easier for themselves. A lot of people think discipline means constantly fighting yourself. Successful people know something different. They know that environment matters. If you want to read more, leave a book where you'll see it. If you want to exercise, prepare your clothes the night before. If you want to eat healthier, make healthy choices easier to reach. Small changes in your environment can remove a surprising amount of resistance, and when something becomes easier, you're more likely to repeat it. That's how habits are built, not through willpower alone, through smart design. The fourth habit might be the most important. They stop chasing perfection. Perfection sounds productive, but most of the time it's just fear wearing a disguise. People delay starting because they want the perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect conditions. Successful people don't wait. They start before they're ready. They understand that imperfect action beats perfect intention every single time. Because progress creates clarity. You learn by doing. You improve by repeating. And confidence comes from evidence, not from thinking, not from planning, from action. Now here's the truth that changed the way I think about success. The habits that create extraordinary results are often so small that they don't feel important. reading 10 pages, walking for 20 minutes, writing for half an hour, studying one chapter, saving a small amount of money. None of these actions seem life-changing, but repeated hundreds of times, they become impossible to ignore. That's the magic of consistency. Small actions compound, just like interest in a bank account. The changes feel invisible at first, then one day they don't. People look at successful individuals and see the outcome, the confidence, the achievements, the results. What they don't see are the thousands of ordinary choices that created them. And that's why success looks sudden from the outside, but from the inside, it was built one boring day at a time. So if you're waiting for motivation, stop. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, stop. If you're waiting to feel ready, stop. Start smaller than you think you need to. Focus on repetition. Focus on consistency. Focus on becoming the type of person who shows up. Because success isn't usually dramatic. It's quiet. It's repetitive. It's often boring. And that's exactly why it works. Tonight, choose one habit, not 10, just one. Make it small enough that you can't avoid it. Then repeat it tomorrow and the day after that. Because the future you're hoping for isn't built in one big moment. It's built through small actions repeated long enough to matter. That's how real progress happens. That's how momentum is created. And that's how successful people quietly change their lives.